This this closely reasoned decision by an expert judge, Mr. Andrew Nicol QC, is absolutely devastating for Johnny Depp. It's finding essentially that all of the tropes which were used to cross-examine and to abuse Amber Heard were untrue. He said that it doesn't matter whether she was having an affair. He rejects essentially everything Johnny Depp says about credibility, and he accepts that this has caused immense damage to Amber Heard's career, but it's also caused immense damage to Johnny Depp's career. Johnny Depp is only going to be able to rehabilitate himself if he accepts this judgment, which was over 120 pages long, over 585 paragraphs. And essentially the judge says every single application of abuse is found, that Johnny Depp did have demons. He doesn't even accept that Amber Heard did the poo in the bed, the infamous poo in the bed. He doesn't believe that at all. And so essentially, this is the judge saying, I believe the credibility of Amber Heard and I disbelieve what I was told by Johnny Depp. Now that's a real problem for Depp, because not only is he going to be labeled forevermore as a wife beater, but also all the extraneous information that came out about how he was taking industrial quantities of illegal drugs, how he was addicted to alcohol, all of those things, which obviously deal with his behaviors and perhaps explain to some extent his behaviors. They don't excuse them, but they may at least explain them. It means that, you know, authors like J.K. Rowling are going to find it very difficult to have him in their films. Disney are going to find it very difficult to have in his films. And indeed, I'm sure that they will be looking to their insurance policies today, because if they need to replace him in their films, they will be wanting to make a claim on those insurances which allow for effectively unwarranted behavior, or behavior which is considered to be inappropriate, to be insured. And that's, of course, what they will have done. And I think that Depp has to now sue for peace. He needs to get the help he so much deserves and needs, but he does need to stop this legal action in America, which also looks vindictive, and I think, you know, is probably going to do him even more damage. What we have here is a case where Depp is going to need to get help in order to rehabilitate himself. There is no way that having found that somebody is a drug addict, has got alcohol problems and abuses a partner, that is in any way going to be acceptable to the box office and the top men in Hollywood. And as a consequence of that, he really does need to get help in order to reform himself before he can be acceptable to the public again. This is devastating for Johnny Depp. This case has got an enormous social media dimension. All of the allegations that were made against Amber Heard, that she was a gold digger, that she was having affairs, that she pooed in the bed, all of these false allegations that this was some kind of elaborate hoax and that she was the person who was the perpetrator of abuse, were amplified on social media. There was a whole troll army with which she had to deal. And it's inappropriate for anybody in a court case, particularly for a witness, to be able to have to deal with not just the physicality of coming into a building and being abused as you go in, but also to have that repeated and amplified on social media. This is going to be studied for years to come, about how you cross-examine witnesses who are the victims of domestic abuse, also the reporting of domestic abuse. And I think that lawyers will study it for the way in which the cases were presented on either side and to see the lessons learned there. But I think also social psychologists and such like will be looking at the way in which the tropes about women, and particularly battered women, were trotted out in this case, how they were used in the courtroom, how they were used by the crowds who were curated outside, and how they were used by those that curated the same messages on social media. And of course, there's going to be the question of how do we protect witnesses from coming forward to give honest evidence in cases of domestic abuse. We cannot allow anybody else to go through what Amber Heard went through. It was untenable and unfeasible.